that throwback guy, man. He's like welding and welding.
He's not as cool as that 75Dually.
Welcome back to 75Dually Garage. Today I've got a special treat for you. I have the first in a series of interviews that I'm doing with my fellow club members. I belong to Banzai Cruisers in Lubbock, Texas. I think you're going to enjoy these interviews. Each one of these guys are great guys, and the first one up on deck is Kenny Jones, a really good friend of mine. He's the president of our local chapter, and he builds hot rods and interiors professionally. So stay tuned for this. I think you're really going to enjoy this.
I'm Kenny Jones, the president of the Lubbock Banzai Cruisers chapter. I have been in the car scene for as long as I can remember. My dad did paint and body work for about 45 years. I was always in the shop with him, you know, stripping whatever I could off, you know, helping him sand, do whatever I could.
Was he your inspiration?
Oh, definitely. The beautiful vehicles that man created with his hands was just phenomenal. And I wanted to do something like that when I grew up.
So how'd you get into the scene?
Basically, my dad influenced me, you know. He did paint and body work for about 45 years. And when I finally was old enough to get my own vehicle, you know, my brother grew up around mini trucks and stuff, so he always had mini truck and magazines. I was always flipping through those. And then when I turned 16 actually, and got my first car, I was into stereo stuff real big. So I had 1612s in a Ram pickup with a snug shell on it. And that started some of my fabrication skills, you know, with the woodwork inside of it. Then I've got my second car, and basically stereo stuff on it, but I was starting to go more towards the custom scene. So that was the first vehicle that I'd bagged. It was a McPherson strut setup, didn't know what I was doing. Tried to make my own brackets and stuff, and totally didn't work. Looking back at it now, from what I know now, it was the most hideous thing that was ever done. But you know, that's the only way that people learn, is to screw up stuff and to learn, hey, you know, that didn't work out, let's do this. Because that was before that they were even doing the slide over bags for the struts. So I was trying to come up with something that they didn't offer yet. So, but eventually, you know, I got it working good and everything. Then I got rid of that, and then I started getting into the mini trucks and stuff. Worked at stereo shops about 15 years. From there, you know, I started getting more into the custom car scene and stuff. That was around like the whole Fast and Furious time, so we were you know, street racing, doing stuff like that. So I was starting to see more of the custom stuff, and I was liking that a little bit more than the stereo side of it. Went and worked at some body shops professionally, doing things like that. And then, you know, I just kept getting into the sheet metal side of it, you know, shaving handles, tail lights, you know, grafting different front ends, different fender flares, different things like that, you know. And I was enjoying it, and I wanted that to be my job. So I worked at a couple of professional shops, you know, here in town and stuff. A couple vehicles that I did went to SEMA a couple years in a row. From the sheet metal aspect of it, it's fun and everything, but I started enjoying the chassis side of it more. So I just started building, you know, more chassis and doing, you know, more suspension stuff like that. Did chassis and suspension work for quite a while, you know, got real proficient at it. Really enjoyed it, but had an opportunity to take a job doing custom interiors, which I have always, I knew how to do some of it, but there were parts of it that I had no clue. So, you know, I'm always down for learning new stuff, so I jumped aboard, you know, and started doing that, and that's what I'm doing now. So the truck is a 93 crew cab Chevy Dually 3500. I named her when I got it. She was known as Big Booty Judy. Everybody and their dog has a dually named Big Booty Judy. So with the route that I'm taking this, since I'm doing a straight up 90s build, her new name is Throwback. So my plans for it is to do a full 90s theme. So that'll be full tweed interior. I've got a camper shell for it. So it's gonna have 4 15s in the rear window, plexiglass over the notch. Since it is on air, it's not static anymore. Neons. I'm doing a LQ9 motor. That's really not that throwback-ish, but I want to be able to drive this car or this truck, so I'm putting something reliable in it to where there's a mechanic anywhere that would be able to work on it. If you look at the crazy little contraption here, it's for my air tanks. So basically they get bolted down like that. There will be 2 here, and then I'll have a 5-gallon inside of the truck in the bed. I wanted something different, but something that looked cool and matched the flow of the tank. So I just took 2 U-bends of exhaust tubing, welded it together. Had my buddy at Caprock Cutting Solutions cut my brackets for me. So back here in the middle, I'm doing I believe it's a 30-gallon, 32-gallon gas tank. The tank goes here. We've got the other air tank, 3-gallon air tank on driver's side. In the back, to keep it centered, I'm going to be using a Thorbros Watts Link. Then, as you can tell, the big old bags, that's why the notch is so big. They're off of a semi triple bellow bags. I have always liked the look of the big triple bags on these big rear ends and these big trucks. So there was a lot of people hating on me for doing it, but it's my truck, so I did what I wanted to. If you look up front here, got the custom battery box. It's going to be holding my 2 batteries that will be running the truck and the audio system. Passenger side of the inside of the frame, to kind of keep it symmetrical, I am running 2 Viair 480 compressors. They're going to be my backups because I am going to be running a engine driven York 210 compressor up front. So if anything ever happens to that, I've always got my backup back here. Moving to the front of Throwback, it's in the mock-up stage. We don't have a motor in it or anything like that. Just recently put the front end back on it because I'm going to start doing the inner wheel tubs and stuff like that. But since I am doing a 90s theme, I am sticking with 16-inch wheels. That is the actual size of the tire that I'm going to be using. It's got some cool features to it. As you can see, we've got the 2-inch cowl hood, all steel. And then I was lucky enough to find an old school cat eye grill from the 90s. I've been wanting one of those for a long time and finally found one. Also doing the SS front bumper cover. We are going to have to section out about 2 inches here and move it up because the front does sit lower than the rockers. So I want to just keep it all even. So we've got to take a section out of that. One of my good buddies, Dustin DeLeon, helped me design some upper and lower 5/8 inch thick flat plate control arms. Using Chassis Tech, I believe 2 or 3 inch drop spindles. We also cut out the coil cup because I don't like using cups, because if anything ever happens, it's hard to get up under there, undo the bolt, pull it out, undo the line. It's just a big headache. So decided to cut it out and cup it. We are using 3,800 pound airbags in the front. And then we are using some RV shocks in the front as well. So it should be a really, really, really good ride with me riding super low.
Guys, thanks for watching 75Dually Garage. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Kenny Jones. I've got several that are going to be coming up here pretty soon with my fellow club members. A lot of them have really cool cars, really cool trucks. So do me a favor, give me a like, and if you haven't been to my channel before, do me a favor, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button below and the little bell right next to it. That'll let you know when the next video is coming up. Thanks again for watching 75Dually Garage.